Hello friends, good morning. I am Odin Yadav. Now I am going to tell you the provocative action that Chinese government taking. They published a new map that is not anything different which previously they were publishing. Now this time yesterday they published a map showing India's some parts of India's territory into their maps. Arunachal Pradesh up to the Itanagar, the capital of Arunachal Pradesh. They are showing up to this territory. They are saying that these are the South Tibet, and they are also claiming that Aksai Chin area belongs to China. They are consistently publishing. Previous years they had also published, but this year they also published again, and consistently they are saying. Very recently, 3 and 4 months ago, the Olympic players from this region, Arunachal Pradesh regions, wanted to go for China's for play, but the Chinese government issued the temporary kind of visas to the Arunachal Pradesh citizens of India because they are claiming that this territory belongs to South Tibet. So the Tibet belongs to China because they have invaded the Tibet, they captured, occupied, and flashed out their dissenters from Tibet, like Dalai Lama and many others, his followers. And Xinjiang province, that is northern parts of China, is also a brutal suppression by the Chinese forces. They have captured, occupied it by their brute force. Detention camps they have installed there for the Uyghur Muslims. They are doing the genocide and suppressing the dissenting voices. The United Nations Human Rights Council said that these are the act that is done by the Chinese government on the Uyghur Muslims is a genocide against the humanity. They quoted it. So the Chinese government only understands the language of force because there is a communist party who believes in force. You can see the history of the Chinese CPC party, Communist Party. You will see that everywhere, even though they have suppressed brutally democratic movement, Tiananmen Square in China, very brutally, they've fired unarmed men and women who was gathered into the Tiananmen Square for democratic rights. Openly they fired. Many people died. Their armed forces have brutally suppressed their own citizens. Their citizens have no rights there. So if the nature of the state is kind of this, They only understand the force. Then what you can uh, assume about their actions against their neighbors. They only understand force, don't understand peace and love, coordination, because they have captured the Chinese authoritarian regime. If you go into the history of CPC, Communist Party, you will understand this. These are the brutal and suppression forces. The democratic forces they flashed out uh, in 1949, and that democratic forces uh, went to the Taiwan. You know, there is a different kind of political system being governed by the Chinese system. So I don't understand uh, anything about. I don't trust on China's actions and their voices. Their statements cannot be trusted. So what can I say? We have signed many agreements for peaceful resolution, settlement, coordination, cooperation, peaceful existence. Uh, in 1903, border dispute agreement, peaceful resolves, everything not to uh, bring their forces, aggressive forces, aggression on the border, respect territorial integrity, coordination, cooperation, everything they set aside. They put the forces on the border of India in northern Ladakh, eastern Ladakh, and they are uh, forcefully negotiating with Indian forces. They first bring the force, and now they are saying that you have to, you know, make the agreements with me. These are the forceful agreements, in talks behind the force. Okay, so you can understand their tactics. I would say that definitely there will be war with India and China. Definitely, I don't have any doubt in future because India is a democratic nation. Democratic nations cannot have such kind of behavior. You know, they need cooperation, kind of something which is democratic in nature, transparency, and peaceful existence, respect the law and the agreements. But the authoritarian regimes don't have anything to respect because they are not liable for anybody's, not answerable. There is no accountability, no transparency. They can do what their thinking is. If the rulers changes, like Xi Jinping is right now, previous somebody else was there, and somebody else will come in the future. So this kind of things will go on. Definitely, there would be a uh, person who has a, forceful kind of characteristic there. So relationship with India and anybody is bordering with the China, not only India. Everybody is in some kind of mental disturbance because of Chinese actions. So we are not worried about Chinese uh, actions or inactions. We know that what is our interest, and we have the capability, we have manpower, we have defense system. We can give the answer uh, in which the language they understand. We are capable to do it. We will do it. But the this kind of things, you know, is not good for the development. Millions of people living on both sides in poverty, and other issues we have. If you don't have the these kind of issues, if we set aside the poverty and anything development process, but the human loss, the suffering of the peoples, many soldiers will die here, both sides. Not only will one side will suffer, you know, as a consequence, there would be nothing. So, what kind of system, what kind of actions they are adopting, they are doing it. Everybody is everywhere. Expansionist nature of the Chinese forces. You just see that name me a bordering country. 14 countries border with China, and the sea, South China Sea, 9-line, 10-line. They are saying that Tibet, so yeah, Taiwan belongs to me, and we will capture it one day by force or any other means. 9-line they have drawn to South China Sea. They are saying that 99%, 90% plus the sea belongs to China, many resources, and we own that because you know what kind of this thing is this? Every bordering countries have dispute with China, not only with India, but India is a major power. That's why the classes uh, takes the news, makes the news. So we don't understand the Chinese action. We respect peace and we have made the agreement. We are not seeking war, but we will defend our territory uh, whenever, wherever, how much, and the need will arise. We will defend our national interest, and we are defending it. But I would say that in the Indian government have failed to manage the China. I can give you many evidences. The Indian government, the Indian leadership has never taken the Chinese government seriously. They never drew the attention of the people towards China. They are only raising the voices. मैं पाकिस्तान में जाके घर में घुस के मारूंगा. The weak neighbor. They are threatening them. They are getting uh, votes being elected by that provocative statements they are making, and they never drew the attention of the citizens towards the China. You know, deliberately they did it. Deliberately, consistently, Chinese government not abiding by the agreements they have signed, but the Indian government is silenced. What can I say? The silence is. I don't understand. The Indian government अगर war घर पे आ बहन बैठी है तो there is no way you have to fight push back. There is no way. इसके लिए कोई negotiations नहीं हो सकते. There cannot be any negotiations by this means. Whatever the consequences would be, एक बार डिसीजन हो गए तो हो गए फिर उसके कॉन्सिक्वेंस चाहे जो भी हो दे आर रेडी फॉर दैट. एक बार डिसीजन हो जाए फिर तो चाहे जो भी हो पॉजिटिव नेगेटिव अच्छा बुरा we have to be ready for each and everything good and bad once the decision is made, and you have to take the decisions based on the national interest, diverting the attention of the masses so that the responsibility and accountability uh, you know setting aside by the Indian leaders. Public pressure will not be on the shoulders of the leaders because they are falsely narrating the issues related to the another bordering state called Pakistan. So diverting the attention from the real enemy to avoid the pressure of the public. These are the tactics of the Indian leaders. They have consistently uh, done it, and they are still doing it. घर में घुस के मारेंगे, है ना? They never raise the voice against the China. Peacefully, they are meeting. They are secretly meeting, even though you know Prime Minister Narendra Modi secretly 2 times met the Chinese President Xi Jinping. Indonesia, they met G20 meeting there. Secretly, they met it. They met at the Xi Jinping secretly. There was no public statement by both sides. This is things, these facts came into the light after 8 months. So such a kind of factions is being managed by the leaders of Indian government. So I would urge that you have to make the statement very clear to the public what kind of actions you are taking. So the participation of the public uh, should be with their government. Public must have to know what kind of actions, what is thinking, what are kind of agreements you are doing, because you are entitled to, transparency and accountability to the public, so that you have to take the responsibility, because public wants to know what kind of thing you are making the agreement decisions, what is you are offering, what you are getting by the negotiations. So okay, but public needs to know everything. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening.